Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of my USF football show. This is Chad Berger, a.k.a. the sideline buddy from the USF radio broadcast. Got some friends with me here tonight. We're going to have a little bit of fun talking USF football. The topic for tonight is we're going to do a fantasy football draft from all-time USF football players. So I'll let Matt Witwicky over on that side introduce kind of the concept.
Yeah, what you've tuned in here for, folks, is we're going to be going ahead and doing a 12-player fantasy draft for each roster. We've got 5 GMs here, as you can see. We're going to be going ahead and basically utilizing the stats from the best season from any single player. So that's basically the criteria we're going by. We're going to be selecting essentially a starting lineup of 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex player, a defense, and a kicker, along with 3 bench players. So that's kind of the basic rundown. As you guys can see in the room here, we've got Austin Van Hove, former tight end for the Coup. We've got John Burkhart, former quarterback for the Coup. Then we've got Tim Hyatt, color announcer with the radio squad. We've got myself, Matt Witwicky from D2Football.com, and we've got Chad Berger, the sideline buddy.
All right. Thanks, Whit. So I think it looks like we're good. We're live. We got a few people already tuned in. So I think we are ready to determine who is going to draft first. So I brought my back-to-back national championship hat. I've got everyone's name in here. And so I should have had my wife come out and draw. But Whit, you have the number 1 pick.
Okay.
The number 2 pick is Berger.
This is rigged.
Number 3 is Burkhart. Number 4 is Van Hove. And that leaves Tim. Tim, your name was in there. Okay, that's the number 5 pick.
So, more clarification: are we doing this in snake form? So I get 2 picks in a row.
Yeah, we're gonna go snake. So that should be good.
Don't be afraid to take a tight end first, too, guys.
Hey, there's one that's up there that's got really good value. So we'll and it's not you, Austin. All right, we'll try and fly through a few of these. Whit, who you got to take overall number 1?
Well, he's a guy that I think most people would expect me to take. Quarterback who didn't lose a game as a Cougar, so I got to go with Lorenzo Brown with the first pick.
All right. And of course, he had in that the 2009 season, he had 40 passing touchdowns and 16 rushing touchdowns. So pretty dynamic fantasy quarterback for you.
Yep.
All right. Number 2 pick, I'm going to take Curtis Riggs from the 96 squad. 55 touchdowns, a bajillion yards.
Only 3 interceptions.
Yeah. Guy did it all. All right. So we're to the number 3 pick here, John Burkhart.
I'm going to take another quarterback. I'm going to take Chad Cavender.
So for some of the people on Twitter earlier today, John Burkhart did not pick himself first overall.
I was tempted. I think that'd be in good taste, though.
All right. Number 4 in the first round, Austin.
First, I'd like to say good evening, all you crazy cats and cougars. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to take Dusty Havorka.
Ooh.
Well, not really out on a limb, just one of the great.
All right. I mean, he wasn't even the top wide receiver on my board, but that's fine. We'll see where we go next.
Hove, I communicated with Dusty Havorka earlier in the day and told him I was going to be taking him early in the draft. So you've already ruined my draft. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, Tim.
All right. Since I have back-to-back picks, I'm going to stick with my my actual fantasy football tradition and go with back-to-back running backs. I'm going to take Nick Corton with my first pick. standout year in 2001. And I'll follow that up with David Reuter, another standout running back from his. I'll take his 1998. I mean, you could pick any of his 4 seasons and count them all, but 98 was a standout year. He actually broke the NAI all-time scoring record that year. So I'll go with 2 backs there, Corton and Reuter.
Wow. All right.
Good picks.
So it's your pick next. I did want to mention to the people that are watching us live here, if you guys want to comment along with, we can show some of those comments on the screen. So go ahead and have fun with us here tonight. All right.
Well, right here, I would usually probably take a good tight end, but I'm actually going to hop on the John Ryan, take the number 1 and 2 receivers off the board.
All right.
Berger, can I ask a question? Can we trade after the draft or not?
I don't think so. So what the plans are after the draft tonight, I'm going to try to post all of these teams on Twitter and then put a link up there so that people can log in and vote. And I'm not going to have people vote on Twitter. I'm going to have a Google link, and I'll try to post a link to it in the comments of this video as well. So hopefully we can see who the people out there think have the best team. All right. So it looks like we have John.
All right, I'm going to go with Max Mickey in his 2016 year. I think he's got a school record for rushing yards that year.
Which has since been broken.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh, didn't know that. You didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I'm only as good as the information that's been provided by the USF website.
Are you working off Hope's sheet or something?
We are not in cahoots. But I'm going to go with Max. I think it's a safe
All right.
pick.
Max is always a safe pick.
Yeah.
Good guy. All right. With my pick, I am going to take Michael Duracek. 05 probably for the season. 06, I don't think we have to specify, but I'm going to pick him.
So I get 2 in a row. Is that the deal?
Correct.
Okay, I'll take Gabe Watson. The 18 season, not the 19 season.
Good distinction there.
Yes. And I suppose I'll take that guy who's coaching out in Fresno, Mr. Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen had 17 touchdown receptions in the 96 season and 2 touchdown rushes that season for a total of 19 touchdowns. So that's some pretty potent production for you. All right, let's see. I am going to – oh, man. This one's tough. You know, I don't have a pick coming back here for a while. I think I'm going to take the number 1 tight end on the board, Jeremy Gardner. 96 season, he had 985 yards and 16 touchdown receptions.
I watched every single game that year. That guy was Gronk before Gronk. He was a beast.
So who's up now?
John Burkhart.
I am. I'm going to go with the guy. Some people might scratch their heads, but this guy was an absolute awesome guy to throw the ball to. Had a great year in 2003. Never met a cuss word he didn't like. Grant Breacher.
That's a good pick. You know, Breacher's the only guy not named DeBoer, Ryan, or Haborka to have a 1,000-yard season at USF. That's pretty impressive.
Didn't he and Dusty have a 1,000-yard season, both in 03?
Together,
Is
yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
Who was throwing to him that year?
Shit if I know.
All right, Van Hove, who you got?
Can't believe he's still on the board. My quarterback, my senior year, his freshman year. Don't got the stats in front of me, but an absolute record breaker. I'm going to go Luke Papillion.
That's a pretty solid pick. We're to Tim now. Tim's going to do 2 picks, but before Tim does, Ryan Swanstrom chimed in and said, "Tim, you got 2 really good backs there earlier in the draft." So, getting a little props from Mr. Swanstrom.
Appreciate that, Ryan. I'll go. I better fill the quarterback slot, and I'll go with a one-hit wonder. He was only there for 1 year, but he had an outstanding season, threw 45 touchdowns, over 3,400 yards. John Eastman.
All right.
And then I'm going to go back a ways, back to my era as a student, actually, for a wide receiver. A guy who is now an offensive coordinator at Northern Illinois, a guy by the name of Eric Eidness, had 995 yards and 11 touchdowns in 1989.
The crazy thing is, he was a quarterback.
He was.
I think 3 of his 4 seasons or something like that. And
Right.
Did his
And-
brother too?
his cousin Jay was also a quarterback. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that was what, the 89 season? Is that right, Tim?
Yes, uh-huh.
All right. Austin.
Oh, boy. I'm going to take a running back here. I played with this guy. He was absolute an animal. One of the smallest guys on the field, but Casey Peters, I know he's probably tuned in here right now. He thinks the exact same thing. I'm going Nephi Garcia.
Oh, yeah, great pick.
The man was slippery like butter.
It's a good pick.
Nice. Chad, you said we get a flex, right?
We do get a flex, yes.
All right. I'm going to go with the ultimate flex player, Andy Glenn Thomas. Get a load of this, guys. 2003, played slot receiver for his first year ever playing as a receiver. He's the leading receiver on the team, 524 yards. Or no, that's 2002, excuse me. Leading receiver. Okay, Corton gets hurt against Dakota Wesleyan. Misses half that game, misses Nebraska Wesleyan game and most of the first playoff game. Andy steps in, plays tailback, and ends up being the second leading rusher on the team too. So that's flex, man, right there.
That is flex.
My favorite Glenn Thomas or Andy Thomas story is every time we interviewed Coach Young after the game, he would call him by a different first name. It was Glenn some weeks, it was Andy other weeks.
In 2001, when we played Concordia Thanksgiving weekend at Howard Wood, now this is before Howard Wood had the field turf, so there's been about, 1,500 football games played on it through the course of the fall. So between the hash marks, it's down to dirt, and remember that game, Chad? It rained, and then it sleeted, and then it snowed a little bit, then it rained some more.
Yeah, it must have been like 31 or 32 degrees, and it was all water in there.
Andy Thomas almost died. He got tackled in the bottom of a pile, and his face was down in the mud. Couldn't breathe. Almost killed him.
Wow. Not a laughing matter, but
Wow.
That's a true story.
You guys are getting the inside info here on this live video tonight.
That might not be entirely true, but Andy, I'm certain, told it that way at the time.
Well, I'm going to go back into a draft pick here. I'm going to take a running back for my next pick. I'm going to pick Ryan Lohmiller, 2009 season. So now, Whit, you get back-to-back picks here.
I see that. Let me ask you. special teams touchdowns, do they count for your defense?
We'll let them count for the player.
Okay. I'll take the 2008 defense.
Okay.
Solid pick. I was a redshirt freshman that year. They were scary to go against.
Did they block like 9 kicks that year? Scored 6 defensive touchdowns. And they
Exactly.
They were a blocked extra point return away from 8 shutouts that season as well. So that's a pretty solid defense. Chuck Morrell's still mad about that one.
Let me go ahead with my other pick.
Kicker.
Thurl Reisdorfer.
Oh.
Wow.
Are you putting him at flex or running back or?
At running back, he had a monster year last season.
All right. 13 touchdowns last season. Over 1,000 yards. Good year for.
Do I get the kick return ones or not?
Yeah, you can have kick return ones. That's fine. All right. It's back to me. I don't have any wide receivers yet, so I'm going to pick Jeremiah Oates from 2012.
All right. I'm going to go tight end. I'm going to go Josiah Fenceroy.
All right.
Maybe only the second best Fenceroy to play for the Sioux. I don't know.
So Josiah is actually watching us right now, and he was asking about the format of the draft here: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 kicker, 1 defense, and then we're doing 3 bench players, not 6. So only 3 bench players. So that'll kind of chop off the end here a little bit for us. All right, Van Hove, it's to you.
All right, I'm going to go flex here. Yankton Pride, I believe. I could be wrong. I don't know. Trey Erickson. Is he from Yankton?
Yeah, he's from Yankton. He's a buck. His first couple years, he had quite a few rushing touchdowns and rushing yards. And then his last 2 years in 2006, 2007, he was an outstanding receiver. So had both kind of aspects. So a good flex pick for you.
Oh, I know.
All right, Tim.
All right, I'm going to fill a receiver slot with a Sioux Falls native, Roosevelt product. 2014 year, had 891 yards and 12 touchdowns, Josh Angulo.
I've got Josh is on the poster right behind me here in my garage. So.
And then with my other pick, I think I'm going to go defense as well. And I'm going to take that first national championship defense from 1996. They had 50 takeaways and 53 sacks. They gave up 16 points a game, but they played a lot of second halves with their second and third string. So there's maybe a little bit of a caveat there, but a lights out defense to go along with a pretty lights out offense back in 1996.
All right. You guys are drafting defenses early. I like this.
Yeah, that might be a stretch bit of the night.
It's up to you, Hove.
You know what? I'm gonna pick a guy that could probably start on my team, but I'm gonna throw him on my bench, Carrington Hanna.
Wow. All right. Not letting us pick him.
Where are you going to play him at?
I'm playing wherever, really.
Yeah.
Luke goes down, I got him at QB, I got him at running back, I got him at receiver.
There's a lot of value in that pick. I like it.
Thank you.
It's funny that the tight end hasn't picked a tight end yet.
Yeah.
Well, you can't pick your own self, you know. And I'm joking.
Don't worry, we won't.
I do have a quick story. We've been throwing stories around, so I wanted to say my second overall pick went to John Ryan. And I just wanted to say that one time we had a house party, and it got busted, and I was so scared when I was a freshman, and I had to tell him that. I was so scared. The cop came to the house, and there was a lot of, everybody there. And the cop goes, "Your name?" And I was so scared. That year I go, "John Ryan." And that was the year John Ryan was player of the year. And I was like, "Oh, no, my name's Austin Van Hope." And then I just had to throw that out there. So I wanted to get John on there. Yeah.
This is the content people came for tonight, Austin. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure to send him a link to this. I hope he's watching right now. Oh, wow.
All right. I think I'm up. I'm going to go with the receiver. And I think this guy's still on the board. I'm pretty sure he is. But I'm going to go with Zach Rutten based off his 2001 year. He had 914 yards. And how many touchdowns did Zach have that year? 11, I believe. So pretty solid year out of Zach that year.
All right, it's back to me. I am going to pick up another wide receiver. This one's a tough call because I really like three guys here in this spot. I'm going to pick my teammate from the 1999 season, Derek Oldert. Derek had just under 1,000 yards that season, had 10 touchdowns, and that 1999 season we only played 9 games. He still, I think, has the longest pass reception for a touchdown in USF history out at Dakota Wesleyan. In that game, I think he had like 243 yards receiving or something like that. I'm making it up, but it's somewhere around there. So monster wide receiver, Derek Oldert.
So I go Twiceberger. Is that the deal?
Yep, you got 2 picks.
Okay. Let's go Alex Anderson, local Sioux Falls product.
That was another one that I was considering with that last pick right there.
Yep, I believe.
Most underrated receiver.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe the year I'm looking for is 2007, Burger.
Yep, correct.
Where he had like 11 scores or something like that.
11 touchdowns that season, yep.
There we go. Okay. And then for my flex player.
For receiver, too. He was outstanding blocker.
And then for my flex, I'm going to take Ryan Simmons. Running back, was it 2003, Burkhart? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, he was maybe about a freshman then. He got a lot of run. Kind of our main running back.
Double-digit touchdowns, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Ryan Simmons came in 2000, I think, from Brandon Valley, and then he played like 1 or 2 years and then missed a year because of some off-the-field stuff, and then came back in 2003 and had a pretty decent season.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. He might have been the lead rusher that year, I think we had.
Yep. Yeah, because Duracek was younger at that point.
Right. Yeah, him and Mike split a little bit, but I think Ryan ended up getting a fair majority of the carries.
Simmons actually had 15 touchdowns that season in 2003. All right, I'm going to pick my flex player, and I'm so happy that he's still available. Brady Rose. You could basically pick almost any season of Brady's career. They were all pretty similar, but in 2015, he had 10 touchdowns, so I'm going to pick that one for the season.
I think I'm up.
Yep, John, you're up. Sorry.
Boy. Is it too early to take Brian Hansen?
None of the 3 NFL players are going to be drafted tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna take the 2002 Cougar defense.
All right.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but they were awesome.
I think like 9 or 10 points a game, something like that. Right?
Yeah. Darren Martina, Dwayne Lunny, Curtis Eben. Who were some other guys on that defense?
Dante Coleman was an absolute monster. You had Leo.
He was on that team. Leo.
Right.
Leo Schmeichel at the corners, Gielan and Hockett at safety. Really physical group of guys. Really get to the ball, turn you over.
The Colonel Chris Rich made a few appearances here and there.
He did. Anytime dime was needed, he's your guy.
Oh. All right. Austin, up to you.
Well, I need another running back. This guy took me under his wing his senior year when I was a freshman. Wagner, Red Raider, pass-catching RB, Eric Simple.
All right. Simple had 13 touchdowns in the 2007 season. That was his best year with the Cougars. I mean, he had a couple other good years as well. All right. Tim, back to back again.
All right. I don't know that this guy fits the definition of a flex player, but he's still on the board, and he had an outstanding season in 1988, going, again, back to my era, a guy who set school records at the time with 1,416 rushing yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. Jim Perringer, kind of an undersized, but just a bull of a running back, really hard to bring down. I played from, I want to say, 87 to 90 or maybe 86 to 89. Had when he graduated, was the leader in all the categories. He was a real good ball carrier.
Yep. And that 88 season, he had 14 touchdowns, and the Cougars went undefeated during the regular season.
Right. Yep, exactly.
The playoff appearance here.
And then with my second pick, it might be early, but I want to get him. I'm going to take Braden Weeking as my kicker.
Woo-hoo.
National champion player of the game. Serious. Look it up. Offensive player of the game.
We remember.
Yeah.
Braden Weeking at one point kicked 162 straight extra points.
He missed his first extra point attempt as a freshman and didn't miss again for 162 attempts.
I don't think he played high school football either, though, did he?
He did not.
I don't think they had high school football.
Played soccer at Sioux Falls Christian, yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're drafting
Great shot put thrower, too. Sorry for the interruption.
No, that's fine. Well, it's your pick, Austin, so go ahead and you can talk. Austin, it looks like you need a tight end, a kicker, a defense, and you have 2 bench spots available.
All right. I'm going to go here as sorry, I didn't write this down. Is the 2009 defenseman taken?
No.
I'm going to take 2009. You guys don't like that pick or what?
Who are some of the guys on the 2009 defense that you remember?
Okay, Dominic Szynski, Bonte, Marlin, Eric Anderson, Koolstra, Trevor Holloman, Mike, Joni, Benedetto.
Nate Everett's waiting for you to say his name.
Nate Everett, TJ Ross. That one time I stepped in, it was really cold. It was like negative 12 degrees. I stepped on Koolstra's foot, negative 12 degrees, stepped on his foot. He threw one of the hardest right hooks I've ever had in my life to my helmet, and I thought I got knocked out. That was a scary defense. Drew to grow. Did I say Drew to grow? Drew to grow. Scary defense.
All right. John, it's to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a kicker. I'm going to go with T.C. Frazier out of Brandon.
Yep.
All right.
Hartley. I forgot Hartley. I got to say his name. Sorry. I got to say his name.
All right. John Burkhart picked T.C. Frazier from Brandon. One of the biggest legs that USF had seen at that point. Phenomenal kicker. I think he had the school record for the longest field goal until Weeking came along. He kicked a 52-yarder. Was that down at Morningside? I don't remember for sure, but
Yeah, I don't know.
very good kicker back in the day. All right, so it's to me. I need a kicker, a defense, and 3 bench players here. So since kickers are starting to go, I'm going to go with Stu Vandenhavel. Stu was a punter for USF for like 3 years, and then all of a sudden his senior year he took over the place kicking duties and was very, very proficient with kicking field goals. And I think he has one of the higher field goal percentage rates all time at USF. So 16 for 19 or something like that. Very good field goal kicker. And yeah, so I'll give a shout out to Stu. Whit.
Okay, tight end. Let's go with Guy, if I remember right, I think that he had the first touchdown scored when the Cougars went up and beat University of North Dakota. Scott LeBrun. I believe he had 8 scores that year, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
And let's go with my kicker. I'll take a guy who you probably tell me which year he had the best stats, Berger, but I remember being at the game when he was a freshman at St. Xavier, and he had the game-winning field goal, and that's Matt Lindgren.
Yeah, I don't remember if he had the best kick, most points in 06 or what year that was, but I'm going to guess it was somewhere, in that era. We actually did get a comment here about Lindgren. So this one came from Josiah. Can we give Matt Lindgren some love? And so Whit going out and giving some love to Lindgren.
Tom and I were in the booth, obviously, for that game, and it was one of those open booths with no partitions to separate it off, and no one in that booth thought the freshman kicker was going to make that kick that day. And as soon as it went through the uprights, you could have heard a pin drop in there. That was a huge kick for a freshman that day.
Yeah, that was a heck of a football game.
Yeah, it was.
All right, it's my turn to pick. I have a defense and 3 bench players left. I'm going to pick a defense. I'm going to pick the 2017 squad.
Tucker Stout is very happy with you right now.
Yeah.
That 2017 defense, kind of held the Cougars together that year. The offense was, fairly decent, but, had some injuries to a few star players, and the defense just came up big, and a guy came out of nowhere. He's playing in the NFL now. Dennis Gardick had a spectacular year. I feel like that defense was one of the best that I've seen in my time watching USF. All right, John, you have a running back spot open, or you can fill up your bench.
Is Christian Porter still on the board?
He is.
I'm going to take that guy.
All right. Austin, is Porter watching this tonight?
Yeah, he's watching.
Okay, good. Do you have anything you want to say to him since you didn't take him?
Yeah.
I saw value, but you just weren't there, Chris. I'm sorry.
Looks like you didn't see value for a long time.
Oh. Here's as I made my last selection of the 2017 defense, Tucker Stout chimed in. Let's go! Oh, all right. Next up, Austin. You have that tight end spot open.
Yeah, I hate to do it, boys.
Is that Tyler Newman?
Let's take a big 8-4. Austin Van Holt, get him off the board.
Just one more reason they should have retired Dusty's number when he was done.
Ouch.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Wow. Tim, you got 2 picks.
All right, I got to fill a tight end spot. Van Hove is off the board now, so I'm kind of scrambling here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go with a guy that maybe wasn't always known for his pass catching, but he had a pretty good year in 2000. Jeremy Clausen had 5 touchdowns, about 435 yards. I'll put Jeremy Clausen at my tight end spot.
Yeah, probably one of the lesser known guys because he was so quiet, but he was just a beast on the field.
And with one of my bench players, man, here's another guy that had just an unbelievable season carrying the ball in 1994. The first, or actually it was the second trip that the Cougars ever made to the playoffs. He teamed with another guy to go over, had 2 backs go over 1,000 yards, but this guy had 1,383 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns, Terry Austin.
He went over 3,000 for his career, didn't he, or somewhere in that neighborhood?
I believe so, yep.
All right. Austin, back to you.
Big wide receiver, physical, Mike Warren.
I was kind of keeping him in my back pocket there, but you saw that too, Van Holt.
Yeah.
I don't like that pick. I love it.
Well, John, hopefully you didn't take the next player off your board. Who else do you got?
I just got my bench left, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So I like
You can pick another quarterback, by the way.
Well, I was just going to say I like to construct my roster a lot like John Gruden. I like to, accumulate quarterbacks. So I'd like to have a good, solid QB room. So with my first bench player, I'm going to go with Brent Feldheim just because I like hanging out with the guys.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Feldheim threw about, 30 total passes in his career?
I don't know, but that guy was a lot of fun Saturday night through Thursday night.
Oh, my. All right. Well, I have my 3 bench players left, too. I'm going to pick another quarterback as well. The quarterback I'm going to pick is Dax Michelena. 2001 season, had 35 total touchdowns, so kind of hard to argue against that one.
Berger, we talked about this offline the other night, but Dax, he was a guy that his style of game, he was born about 15 years too early because in today's spread, he would have been unstoppable.
Yeah, and we actually put some of that stuff, started putting some of that stuff in the 2000 season there when we went to the title game. But, yeah, he would have been unstoppable. I agree.
I think he had a couple seasons where he had at least 800 rushing yards in addition to the passing. He was a dual threat for sure.
Absolutely.
My turn, Berger?
Yep, Whit, you got 2 picks. You got 2 bench guys left.
The last few years in the Northern Sun hasn't exactly been a time for great quarterback play. But Caden Walters this last season had an outstanding season. I'm going to take Caden Walters, and he's going to be back up Lorenzo Brown.
All right.
And then I'm going to go with my second bench player is a guy who could do a little bit on special teams, bring back a few punts for scores, but he also helped the Cougars out filling in as a running back and went for almost 1,000 yards, and that's Jason Towns.
The Swiss Army knife. That guy could do everything.
Yep.
At 5'6".
All right. So, Tim, do you have me down for one pick left or two?
I have you down for two left. Two bench picks left.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pick Kevin Mosier from the 1984 squad, scored 15 touchdowns, had over 1,000 yards. John, you got 3 left somehow, or did I miss one of yours?
I got 2 left. You got my
Okay.
Feldy one, right?
Oh, that's right. I got to write down Feldy.
Yeah. Don't forget that, please.
He's studying hard. This is that point where you got, just a little bit left. You want to make sure you pick the right guys.
Am I up?
Yep, you're up.
Oh, I'm going to go with Kyle Gronewig.
Oh, this is actually what I was thinking earlier when I thought Whit was asking me if return touchdowns counted,
Yeah.
because Kyle was an outstanding returner. Good touchdown per catch ratio too. So
Yeah, deep guy.
yeah, good pick. All right, Austin, you still need a kicker.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Josh Bierink here on this help right here. I'm going to go with Rick Dan Meir. He had 4 field goals in one game in 1972. 4. He was a machine, had a huge leg, I was told.
That's a great. He played for the Vikings. He made the NFL.
That's right. I forgot about
Why is he still on the board? I'm wondering.
Here's the stat about Rick Danmeyer. In 1971, he made 9 field goals, so he accounted for 27 points on field goals. As a team, the Cougars scored 54 points the whole year.
Wow.
So he was the offense.
Yeah.
Well, recency bias apparently got the rest of us, but good dig on that one there, Hove. Tim, you got your last 2 picks here.
Okay. I'm going to go you might look at my roster later and go, why does he only have 2 receivers? Well, I'm pretty confident I got 2 of the best pass-catching running backs in Corton and Reuter, so I'm going to do another tight end here. I'm going to take Clint Sig, add him to my bench. And since one of my receivers is also a quarterback, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take another – I will fill in a receiver here, and I'll go back to the 90s, and I'll take a guy named Jason Oswald. Back in 1993, Jason had 667 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns.
I'm going to take a running back. Former Gator, not the best stat getter at USF, but this kid could play. Javon Walker.
He scored 14 touchdowns in that 2010 season.
Yeah. And he was lightning fast.
Always to the outside. To the outside.
Yeah.
Not much between the tackles.
He played in Canada for a few years afterwards, right?
He had
A
two
lot of years. I
monster
think
runs.
he's still playing. The dude literally had a. I'm not trying to be that guy, but you can ask anybody who played with this guy. The most ripped up guy you've ever seen. Like just put together. The guy was.
You have any other locker room stories you want to share with us?
We move on to our next pick here.
We can get in. I just gotta throw this last one out.
Or wait. Save it for the after show.
Okay. All right.
All right, Burkhart, who do you want to take with your very last pick here?
All right. In keeping with my theme of building up that quarterback room, make sure there's a lot of continuity in there. That's the most important room in the building. You guys know that. I'm going to go with the guy that not necessarily a college quarterback, but if you ask around, he was 9B All-State at Esterline High School. Played a little outside linebacker. Special teams, he'll play all four of them. Jason Apple. He's my Swiss Army knife.
All right, we're falling apart fast here. I'm going to pick a wide receiver that was big in the 96-97 era, Jason Yurkovich. Scored 9 touchdowns in that 96 championship season.
Might be our first player on the board from the state of Montana.
I'm going to look at the final pick of the draft. Is that right, Berger?
This is the final pick. Yep.
I think I'm going to go for a guy from the state of Wyoming, from what I recall. He actually didn't play offense. He played defensive line. But you know what? If I needed somebody to be a good blocker at the goal line for Gabe Watson to get through, I can't think of a better battering ram in short yards than Jay Wu. So I'm picking Jay Wu as my battering ram fullback. And you know what? Maybe once in a while we fake and he goes out and catches a pass. So.
He couldn't get those little arms above that big head of his, though.
Those little legs that get going, though.
Those little legs.
The element of surprise would be there. They would never expect it.
No.
I love it.
Oh, man. Well, that was fun tonight. See what we had over here in the comments. Ryan Swanstrom said, who drafted Hannah?
Got it.
Yep. Austin Van Hove got him pretty early as a flex player. Ryan Rollinger chimed in and said lightning and thunder earlier when we had a little combo there. I think that was geared towards Tim Hyatt. See what else we got going on here. This is fun stuff. Mike Hockett loves you. Oh.
You remember that, Burger, or were you gone when they started?
I was already gone when that happened. So
Okay, let me tell this real quick. So this was back when we had the practice field that was between the Stewie and Pierce Hall. So every day we'd be out stretching, and the class would get over at 3:30 or whatever, and there'd be girls walking down the cul-de-sac road down towards Burgess. So we'd be stretching, and probably 20. Mike Hockett loves you. Mike Hockett, just all day long. Yeah,
oh, good stuff.
it was pretty fun.
Well, any comments? I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with my team. I think I've got a pretty good one. We'll see. I'll kind of go through these later on and see where I think they'll rank, but I'll post a link later so the viewers can vote. I really appreciate all you guys joining me here tonight. Hopefully it was fun for you.
Thanks,
All right.
Chad. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Burger.
All right. Well, have a good one, everyone. We'll talk to you again later. Thanks for tuning in.